Hey everybody, welcome to Sense. I'm Branden.
And I'm Juno.
We're really happy to have you guys here for our first episode.
Our very
That's crazy,
first
right?
episode.
This is gonna be crazy.
Yep.
This is gonna be crazy. We're really excited to have you guys on. We're really excited to talk to you guys about some of the things in music that we are all trying to make sense of.
Exactly.
There's a lot going on.
A lot going on.
So, you want to just jump right into it?
Yeah.
You wanna.
Yeah, so you know what? Today we're really jumping into the topic of posthumous work. And if a lot of you guys don't know what posthumous means, it basically just means someone's legacy after they die. And I think it's really crazy that a lot of younger artists are dying, and I definitely want to bring up like one of the most like craziest deaths of 2019, Juice WRLD, first off. Like
that one came way out of left field, honestly. Like that was just crazy. I mean, and that's the thing though, is that even his death though, the fact is that like since they ruled it like an accident, it was an accidental overdose. And it's like, yeah, because when he showed up at the airport, when they landed at the airport, the pilot had told the police that there was drugs and guns and all this stuff in the plane, and so Juice WRLD, freaking out probably. I can only imagine what was going through his mind in his last moments. He was probably thinking like, fuck it, I'm not catching a case, like I'm taking all this shit.
And like honestly, a lot of people didn't even know that Juice WRLD existed. Like they honestly didn't even know he had a banger on the radio until he died. And I think that was the craziest part, because I'm gonna be honest, y'all.
Who did not know about Juice WRLD, bro? I swear to God.
I feel like a lot of people didn't know about him.
If someone comments in the section and is like, "Oh, I didn't know about Juice WRLD," I'm gonna slap the shit out you. I swear to God, I put that on my grave.
And I think it's crazy because I'm gonna be honest. Like I did not listen to a lot of him before he passed, and like Juice WRLD was just one of the many deaths that happened in 2019. But like I felt like Nipsey's was even crazier because of the shooting. But we're really like jumping into like the whole music aspect of it and like their work after they die. And I feel like one of the biggest things for me is like, after they die and their music is released, how do the families go about releasing their music? Are they doing it for personal gain, or are they doing it because they genuinely loved their son or their daughter, or and they want to see their legacy thrive? Because there's so much money to be made after death that people don't know about.
That's true. I think that comes into question, especially somebody's intent behind releasing, especially the estate. Like what was your intent of releasing this work? Because you have two different kind of schools of thought. And what I saw personally with these deaths this year, specifically Mac, I'm going to talk about Mac real quick, because Mac, whoever was in control of his estate, they released this preface and they were like, hey, look, we know how important this is to, I'm not speaking verbatim, this is like, we know how important this is to you guys, like we know how important this is to his fans, we understand how sacred this art is to everybody who does it and who was a fan of Mac, so we want to make sure that we do this correctly and do this as close to his vision as we can possibly get, because you can't ever really know what this person would have kept on the final cut, or like would have just like left off the album.
Exactly. And like that's what I wonder, because like I listened to Mac's album and I felt like I don't feel like he was done with it. Like there was just so much that still needed work. It's so hard
for me to say it, but like there's a few songs on there like I feel like he would not have wanted like
on there. Like, and I feel the same way. But I felt like it was really weird because Mac died and his family released it so quickly, and I felt like they didn't even really give time for people to kind of just like, I know people were like waiting on the music, but some people were still mourning, and I felt like, okay, you guys push it so quickly. And then we see families like Aaliyah, they're holding on to that music like a baby. But why is that? Why is there two different mindsets? Like, versus I'm going to release the music right now, or I'm going to keep it because this is my baby, this is my legacy. My daughter, like speaking about Aaliyah, like my daughter, she's gone, and I want to hold on to this moment. And I feel like versus just pushing it. I feel like it's kind of more for a financial reason.
Yeah.
You know? And I wonder if you guys think that too. Like, you guys can comment down below, like, your thoughts on it. Like, if you feel as though it is for financial gain or it's actually, you know, helping the artist in the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, see, that's the thing. Personally, I didn't feel like it was too soon for Mac's work, and I think specifically the reason why they released it as soon as they did is because it was meant to be paired with swimming.
Right.
Like, swimming, what I heard is that swimming was a hybridization of songwriting and hip-hop that Mac had released, and then Circles was more so in the realm of songs, like actual just songs.
Right.
And so there was supposed to be a third album. This is what I heard. This isn't. Don't crucify me. This is it. Just what I heard is that the last one was supposed to be 100% just rap, like Mac spitting his fucking ass off, just going crazy on it. And so I understand the thought process. This is one of those ones where I understand the thought process, and I can also appreciate the amount of time that they spent to wait, because like you said, there is a statute of limitations on how long you should wait to let somebody's work go out. And especially in regards to Aaliyah, I can only imagine that her family is just more so feeling, and I who's to say that Mac's family wouldn't have done the same thing? You know what I mean? If it hadn't been a second, it wasn't supposed to be paired with that. It had just been its own body of work, a standalone project.
Yeah, exactly.
If it had been that, who's to say that they would have ever released it?
At all.
So, like, I think that with Aaliyah, I think that it's definitely different, and I think the circumstances surrounding her death being different, and as they are, and that family being different from, you know, how things are now, and I'm wondering if she had died now, she had died in this day and age, if it would have gone the same with how they chose to hold on to her music,
hold on to her music, or rather let it go. Because,
like, a lot of, specifically my opinion is that Tentacion with his music was that was all the deaths, all the rap deaths in the last 2 years have been just insane.
I know.
Like, they're not. It's weird, man. I mean, Max was fucked up, but everybody knew he was going through something. You know what I mean? Like, everybody knew he was going through something, like, really, really hard, and that he's been battling addiction.
Yeah, and his, like, breakup, like, he hasn't had, like, great relationships with friends, families.
Exactly.
You know, and I feel like the drugs, like, really changed artists a lot of the time. And I feel like he was just kind of lost in this, like, limbo when he, like, passed away. So, and then XX, like, bringing him up, like, I just don't even know what to say.
I don't think. Okay, so here's the thing. I think the only reason why his estate got away with releasing the songs the way that they did and the length of the songs is that Tentacion had short songs anyway.
He did.
So it was like it's still X. You know what I mean? This, that, and the third. But also at the same time, it's like, yo, do you no one knows whether he would have wanted certain things released or not, and that's what makes this such a hard question. You know what I mean? It makes it such a hard conversation to have, and I can only imagine what those families went through when they finally decided to release it. You know what I mean? Where they were like, I don't know if he would have wanted this. Like, I have an idea. I know my son. I know my daughter. I know my brother. But is this really, like, what they wanted to be released?
Like, is this really, you know, was a good thing for them? Because, like, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I looked at some of the things, like, after Michael Jackson passed, and I seen that after his death, like, his music sold over about 13.8 billion copies after that.
Jesus.
Like, right after the death.
Good
and I
Lord.
feel like, as a family member, I'm, you know, just, you know, as me, I'm like, that's a lot of money. Like, what are you guys doing with it? Like, are you guys investing in the right places? Are you guys flipping the money? Like, y'all going to strip clubs with the money? Like, what y'all doing? I want to know.
This
like,
is for you, Michael.
Like,
this is for you, bro. I got you,
I
man.
really want to know, like, where the money is going, because, I mean, I see like, did it go to the kids?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, that's what I can only imagine, you know.
Those kids are set for life. They were set for life before they released that work. They were set for. They were good for forever. You know, like, I know they have, like, those are trust fund kids. You know what I mean? Like, those kids, when they hit, you know, when they hit that certain age, when they got old enough, I'm sure they got a bunch of money, and they
Right.
low key dropped off the radar.
I mean,
on a side point, that's not even like you would hear about them for a while, wouldn't you? Am I tripping? Like,
I mean, I know that they had a lot of issues, the Jacksons. I know that their family is very separated, and still to this day. And I know that even before Michael passed, I know there was like a lot of animosity between them. So just because of how they grew up, and and we seen the Jacksons before our eyes grow. Like, you know, we grew up with them.
That family's been on the stage from from the jump, man.
Exactly. So just kind of like, you know, moving back into like the posthumous deaths, you know, I definitely think that releasing music after, you know, an artist dies is a great thing. It's just, I think I'm still on the fence about it. Like, and I just really want to know what a lot of you guys have to say about it, as far as that goes. You know, because we definitely want to hear opinions, and, you know, I really, really can't wait to hear Michael's opinion today. Yeah. And that's what we're kind of going to jump into right then and there, and I'll kind of let everybody know who we're going to have on the show today.
Yeah, we're going to have the one and only Michael Bronxly. He is going to be in the studio with us today. We're going to have to ask him some questions. Man has some questions to answer about his career as an artist and a producer in the Arizona Phoenix music scene. So, without further ado,
we're going to introduce you to Michael Bronxly.
Wake up, had to bake up, she caked up. She came around me and she liked up, she ached up. Get a little ice on it, yeah. Get it just right for me. Show me what you really gon' write on it. Girl, I'm gon' fight for it. Go left, right on it. Wanna get hundreds on it. I know that she gon' wanna bet my life.
Everybody, we got Michael Bronxly in the house.
Building.
One and only. Y'all ain't ready for this.
Yes.
So, how do you know Juno, man?
I know Juno. We've met from work, and I knew that she was super into music and super into, you know, the type of people that I like to be around, basically. I like to be around people who are very excited about their dreams, and that's one thing that she's excited about all the time.
And it's crazy because, like, when I first met him, I literally did not like him at all. Like, I just want everybody to know that out there. And like, honestly, no, he was like one of the nicest people to me that day, on my first day, and we just kind of like started talking after that and hit it off. And I heard his music and I was like, oh my god, he's dope. This nigga dope. I'm sorry, I'm gonna just say that. Like, I didn't know whether to say it or not. Like, you know, my family's watching. I'm so sorry, Mom.
All the old heads would be so mad at you. They're gonna be like,
so
yo,
much, Auntie.
She'd be like, I like that episode, just stop using the N-word so much.
Auntie, I got you.
That's crazy. That's literally gonna be my old man. He's gonna be like, I love your show. Stop using the N-word though. I don't know what to tell you, nigga. I'm sorry.
And just like, nah, Michael's music was crazy dope. You guys know my nerves. So yeah, like, his music was super dope. I just really loved everything about it. And I let him hear my music, and I was like, he liked it, like really liked it. I was like, okay, all right, we friends. So.
You guys have produced together already?
So
you guys have already. You guys made a few. I mean, some cuts, some jams.
I think we definitely have, and I mean, I remember you got in the studio with us that one time, and
that one time
killed it.
That one time at band camp.
And our Kenneth too, like, he was in there too. He was chilling with us.
Kenneth was in there sounding like a super stoned J. Cole.
Right.
Like a super. I was like,
I did, and it was like very bad. And
all right.
I feel some type
I just wanted to verify
that. You know. So anyways, where are you from originally?
So I'm from Maryland, or the Washington D.C. area, the DMV, and I'm here now. I'm in Arizona.
Yeah, AZ. You repping?
That simple, you know.
You repping AZ?
I'm still a Redskins fan though, so.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, gotta rep my team, but yeah.
And so, how'd you get into music? Like, what brought you into like the whole music scene? And how old were you?
Actually, I played drums at my church for the first time. I really got into music at 8 years old, and then from there, I just kind of kept working with it, kept fiddling around with it, and then I started getting into a couple bands back home. We got a sound back home called Go-Go Music, and nobody else listens to it outside of Maryland, D.C., and Virginia, but it's cool because it's for us, not y'all.
So,
but yeah.
Go-Go Music. Okay, I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt, but like every time you say Go-Go Music, I instantly think of go-go dancers.
Same. I'm just thinking of them like dancing
in the cage, you know what I mean?
Like chilling, like.
I mean, you ever heard A-Marie One Thing?
Okay, it's this one thing, nigga.
That's a go-go song.
Hey,
okay.
I did not know that that was classified as go-go.
Thrilled by Chris Brown, go-go.
Okay,
yeah.
That's lit. That's lit.
I'm out here.
Give you a couple gems.
Right, yeah. A couple gems for the ride home,
You're putting me on game. Thank you.
Don't leave this podcast, though. You have to finish watching this first, and then you can go listen to it.
Right, yeah. Exactly. Let them know what's up, because, yeah. So...
So I'm just gonna jump right into this question because, like, you know, I just want to know, like, are you doing this as a job or a hobby? Like, when it comes to like your music.
I'm doing this just so I can move my family out the projects. It's like, nah.
How many times are we gonna
line? See if y'all know y'all music. That was an A Boogie line. But yeah, I just love doing music. Like, music has always been a thing of mine, so I just love doing it. I've grown up into it. Like, I have family members that are into music. My mom can sing, my dad can play. Like, so, you know. It's just I'm born into it.
So are you saying you're like not looking for fame, but like if fame happened, you know, you would be cool with it too? Like,
I'm doing music because I love to do it, and hopefully one day it can get me a nice house in Texas in the middle of nowhere with a horse. I said a house, a horse. And then I'll be straight.
Hey man, don't stop your dreams.
Okay,
two houses and one horse.
Building?
That's a lot. But yeah, I mean, I'm down for that too.
A house for the horse, you feel me?
They gonna say a house for the horse.
House for the horse city.
Hey nigga, if you ballin', you ballin'. If you got it like that, niggas really gonna hate. You feel me? They gonna be like, this horse is living better than I am. I am in the jacks still. And like, this horse is living in the nicest part of Texas. This horse, man.
Hey,
some of these.
Pony, like
how many cars you gonna have though? That's the real question.
I don't know. I really like cars a lot, so I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm not into material things too much, but I do like cars a lot. So I definitely want to get like an old school one day, and then like a futuristic, like that Tesla truck, that Cybertruck.
Oh my god!
Looks like
you're gonna be one of them on the highway.
Definitely be one of them.
On a crazy tip,
yep.
He showed me this car so many times, y'all. Like, so many times.
What,
like,
the Tesla truck?
I don't want to see it no more. Don't show me.
The Tesla truck?
Don't see me pull up in one. Hopefully.
Like, I don't want to. Don't talk about it until you have the car. Like,
let's separate that back down. Hold up. All right.
Just one notch.
Okay, so
put it back in the pocket.
So I really gotta ask. I have a question that that has been percolating. You know, what parts of your music, what parts of yourself, really, your personality, do you allow to really show in your music, and then like what parts of you do you usually kind of like keep hidden? Because I know as a producer, you have the final say in what gets released with your music. I mean, every artist really does, but you know, you more so than others would have more of a say of like what are the emotions and the thoughts that come from Bronxly that you want people to know versus the ones that you wouldn't really care to have out there?
I mean, I'm a very open dude. Juno knows that. I'm incredibly open about you know, when it comes about anything that's going on in my head. I'll let you know if you're willing to listen. So all my music is literally from, it's just different experiences in my life, and I just learned how to put that into, you know, art, and you know, hopefully people understand it. But at the same time, like, it's just therapy for me, and that's like every other artist that does music. It's just therapy at the end of the day. So
yeah. I can see how it's like a cathartic thing. However, you know, like some people, sometimes people will go through like a really bad breakup. Sometimes people will go through something that's really, really, really personal,
traumatic,
and then they might not want to release it, and that's fair. You know what I mean? But do you feel like there would ever be a moment
where you just had to like, you felt like this is maybe a song that I have to preserve and I can't really show people yet, and maybe this is just something special to me and only me, and this is just my baby, basically? Do you ever get that?
Never.
Really?
I feel like everything should be released at some point. I mean, you know, and it is a matter of timing at the same time. Like, you know, you gotta know when to put out music. You gotta know, you know, when it's the right time. But I mean, eventually it'll all go out.
And
somehow.
do you have like a technique when you're putting out music? Because you said you all got to put out music, but like, what's your technique? Like, are you dropping songs every week, every 2 weeks?
I just drop them when they're done, when they're ready to be done, and then you kind of feel when it's the right time. So I just wait. You'll hear one of my songs is Outer Space. That song, I made that at the beginning of 2019. It didn't drop until the end of 2019.
Outer space.
It'll be in the link below. Y'all will hear it in the link below.
Hey,
Outer space.
I told him I was going to do like an acoustic version.
I was floating for a second. My bad, y'all.
And I told him I was going to do an acoustic version of this Outer Space. I don't know if it's going to happen. Like, don't quote me on this. Like, if it never happens.
It's not going to happen.
Hey, get into the comments and roast the fuck out of her until she does it, okay? Like, that's how you got to get a fire going, you feel me?
When you going to drop Outer Space?
When you going to drop Outer Space acoustic, yo? What up, though?
Is Michael Bronxly going to be on it, too?
Right, exactly. These are so many questions that need to be answered.
You really know him, or is it just like for the podcast?
I really don't like you guys in real life. So that's cool. Like,
the lies we tell.
I don't.
Oh my God.
So I'm like really thinking, because it's crazy. I really have this question that I've been thinking about also. Like, I really want to know if you made it, what is one way that you would invest in pushing the culture?
I think I would invest in people wanting to be themselves. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you see so many rappers and artists in general that they have like this fictional life, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, that's dope. And I'm glad it's making money for your family, but at the same time, it's like, that's not really you, and that's like the type of music that I create. Is I like to create music that like this is the same me. It's just another layer of me. It's not, you know what I mean? So my whole goal is like, to be on the back end of things eventually to where I can like get other artists, and that are true to themselves and true to what they write about and what they talk about, and build them up. And
so like a specific age group, would you say, like you're gearing towards with that?
Nah, I work with a 50-year-old if you got bars, if she got bars.
Right.
I've been chilling in the nursing home, just spitting bars with the homies for years. Like, just
I've been waiting for this opportunity.
I've been waiting for this opportunity, man.
And you finally came through.
So when you think about culture, you think about everybody, not just one group.
Whoever, Jay-Z is, over 40 years old, and he dropped 444. That was a great album.
That was a great album.
Lil Wayne just dropped Funeral. Great album. Like, that's, they older people, so it don't matter what age you are. It's about who can create good music.
I agree with that.
Right.
But like, okay, so in my thought process with like pushing the culture, one of the things that I think about mainly with like investing is more so on the line of like schooling. Like investing in schools and making sure that like our kids have an opportunity to fully express themselves, because we find that in a lot of places there isn't as good schooling, and so it's much harder for kids to truly allow themselves to be themselves. You know what I mean? They're always looking at things through this lens that kind of like limits their view, limits their vision. So like, personally, I know I was not asked the question, but
it's your podcast.
It is my podcast. Don't forget it. Like one of the things that I would always say, and one of the things that I can appreciate when artists do finally make it and they do start investing, is they start investing in the youth.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
I mean, at the end of the day, like, one thing that I saw like on the internet somewhere the other day is like, there's a school, I want to say it's in Utah, I might be wrong. But there's a school that has a financial course for kids now that they have to take in order to graduate. And that financial course is like built upon like them, saving money, managing money, learning how to build and invest money. And so like things like that, those are definitely needed, just like to your point, like those are definitely needed. And I wish I had that when I was in school. Like,
and then just like arts in general, because you see a lot of schools taking away fine arts from children. Like some kids just don't even have the opportunity to be in music programs. And I think that honestly, answering that question as well, that's one of the things I would do is bring arts back into schools, and also create my own art schools for kids to go to, and be able to like showcase their passions and what they really want to do.
Right.
Luckily, I was able to go to to an art school for a little bit of time before they realized that I didn't live in that area.
Really?
So they kicked me back to my home.
Damn, dog.
Yeah. Don't take my diploma, please.
It's like, please don't take it back.
Yeah, I need that. But nah, like for real, like I mean, art school was super dope. Like I mean, I grew a lot musically from being around other people that were different from me musically. You know what I mean? Like I was able to be in band, I was able to do all these different things, and it was cool. So I definitely agree with you. So,
yeah, like one of the things that I think about a lot is teaching kids how to be their own business people. You know what I mean? Is, you know, you're one of the most important skills that you could have is being a salesman. Right. Is selling yourself. You go to a job interview, you're going to sell yourself. You're going to be like, hey, this is what I can do. This is what I'm capable of. Now you just have to convince that person to believe you. You have to convince them to believe in you. And so, you know, I think that one of the things that is really, really important with the teaching our kids, like the financing classes and everything like that, is teach them classes if they're interested. Teach them how to own their own business. Right. You know what I mean? Teach them what they need to know in order to make sure
thrive.
That. Make generational wealth.
Like if they're doing music and doing all these things, they're gonna have to run their own business.
Exactly. So that's exactly what it is.
Them, like you say follow your dreams, and like help me follow my dreams. Like
fucking right, dog. So I have to ask, man, because in working with you and going to the studio with you, one of the questions that I have is, how do you know that you're going to get like a decent performance out of an artist or like a decent session in the studio with an artist? Are there telltale signs? Like, do you look for them? Have you like picked it up over time? Like, what's
do you pick up on vibes? Like,
yeah,
it's 100% vibes. For me, that's what it is. Cause like at the end of the day, like you can tell when somebody's really like, really invested in their craft. And when you see that, you know how to, you just have, as a producer, I feel like, you just have to help mold them into what they want to be. Like, your job is to mold them into what they want to be. You're not taking credit for them, but you're just, you're just helping them, understand who they are and when they're in the booth and they lay it down.
Outer space, outer space, outer space. When I'm with you, I get taken to a place. Outer space, outer space, outer space. The whole world stops when my clock is in your head.
Houston, we got a problem.